Welcome back. We're in Genesis 31. Last we were looking at his Jacob's 12 sons, how we got all of them. What a debacle. What a crazy situation that was. But they're all born, all 12 of them, that the future nation of Israel will be built from. Let's get into Genesis 31. Jacob heads out to Canaan. Now, Jacob heard the words of Laban's sons, saying, Jacob has taken away all that was our father's, and from what belonged to our father, he has made all his wealth. Jacob saw the attitude of Laban, and behold, it was not friendly toward him as formerly. Then the Lord said to Jacob, return to the land of your fathers and to your relatives, and I will be with you. So Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to his flock in the field. And he said to them, I see your father's attitude, that it is not friendly toward me as formerly, but the God of my father has been with me. You know that I served your father with all my strength, yet your father has cheated me and changed my wages 10 times. However, God will not allow him to hurt me. If he spoke thus, the speckled shall be your wages, then all the flock brought forth speckled, and if he spoke thus, the striped shall be your wages, then all the flock brought forth striped. Thus God has taken away your father's flock and given them to me. And it came about at the time when the flock were mating that I lifted up my eyes, and I saw in a dream, and behold, the male goats which were mating were striped, speckled, and mottled. Then the angel of God said to me in a dream, Jacob, and I said, here I am. He said, lift up your eyes and see that all the male goats which are mating are striped, speckled, and mottled. Mottled? I don't know what that word is. Never heard of it. For I have seen that all Laban has been doing to you. I, the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar, where you made a vow to me. Now arise, leave this land, and return to the land of your birth. Rachel and Leah said to him, do we still have any portion or inheritance in our father's house? Are we not reckoned by him as foreigners? For he has sold us, and he has also entirely consumed our purchase. Surely all the wealth which God has taken away from our father belongs to us and our children. Now then, do whatever God has said to you. Then Jacob arose and put his children and his wives upon camels, and he drove away all his livestock and all his property which he had gathered, his acquired livestock which he had gathered in Padan Aram, to go to the land of Canaan to his father Isaac. When Laban had gone to shear his flock, then Rachel stole the household idols that were her father's. And Jacob deceived Laban the Aramean by not telling him that he was fleeing. So he fled with all that he had and arose and crossed the Euphrates River and set his face toward the hill country of Gilead. When it was told Laban on the third day that Jacob had fled, he took his kinsman with him and pursued him a distance of 7 days' journey, and he overtook him in the hill country of Gilead. God came to Laban the Aramean in a dream of the night and said to him, be careful that you do not speak to Jacob either good or bad. Laban caught up with Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the hill country, and Laban with his kinsmen camped in the hill country of Gilead. Then Laban said to Jacob, what have you done by deceiving me and carrying away my daughters like captives with the sword? Excuse me. Why did you flee secretly and deceive me, and did not tell me, so that I might have sent you away with joy and with songs, with timbrel and with lyre, and did not allow me to kiss my sons and my daughters? Now you have done foolishly. It is in my power to do you harm, but the God of your father spoke to me last night, saying, be careful not to speak either good or bad to Jacob. Now you have indeed gone away because you have longed greatly for your father's house. But why did you steal my gods? And Jacob replied to Laban, because I was afraid, for I thought that you would take your daughters from me by force. The one with whom you find your gods shall not live. In the presence of our kinsmen, point out what is yours among my belongings, and take it yourself. For Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen them. So So Laban went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent and into the tent of the two maids, but he did not find them. Then he went into Leah's tent and entered Rachel's tent. Went out from Leah's tent and entered Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the household idols and put them in the camel's saddle, and she sat on them. And Laban felt through all the tent, but did not find them. She said to her father, "Let not my lord be angry that I cannot rise before you, for the manner of women is upon me." So he searched but did not find the household idols. And Jacob became angry and contended with Laban. And Jacob said to Laban, "What is my transgression? What is my sin that you have hotly pursued me? Though you have felt through all my goods, what have you found of your household goods? Set it before my kinsmen and your kinsmen, that they may decide between the two of us. These 20 years I have been with you. Your ewes and your female goats have not miscarried, nor have I eaten the rams of your flock. That which was torn of beasts I did not bring to you, I bore the loss of it myself. You required it of my hand, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Thus I was. By day the heat consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep fled from my eyes. These 20 years I have been in your house. I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters and 6 years for your flock, and you changed my wages 10 times. If the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had not been for me, surely now you would have sent me away empty-handed. God has seen my affliction and the toil of my hands, so he rendered judgment last night." Then Laban replied to Jacob, "The daughters are my daughters, and the children are my children, and the flocks are my flocks. All that you see is mine. But what can I do this day to these my daughters, or to their children whom they have borne? So now come, let us make a covenant, you and I, and let it be witness between you and me." Then Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar. And Jacob said to his kinsmen, "Gather stones." So they took stones and made a heap, and they ate by the heap. Now Jacob called it Jagar Sahadutha. Don't know. But Jacob called it Gilead. Galeed. Laban said, "This heap is a witness between you and me this day." Therefore it was named Galeed and Mizpah, for he said, "May the Lord watch between you and me, and when we are absent from one another. If you mistreat my daughters, or if you take wives besides my daughters, although no man is with us, see, God is witness between you and me." Laban said to Jacob, behold this heap and behold the pillar which I have set between you and me. This heap is a witness, and this pillar is a witness, that I will not pass by this heap to you for harm, and you will not pass by this heap and this pillar to me for harm. The God of Abraham, the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge between us. So Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered a sacrifice on the mountain and called the kinsmen to the meal, and they ate the meal and spent the night on the mountain. Early in the morning Laban arose and kissed his sons and his daughters and blessed them. Then Laban departed and returned to his place. So we got quite a back and forth that's happening here. And honestly, Laban was the one who went sour first. And, Jacob has this, look, I didn't do nothing to you. But he did. Now, it's not all wrong, right? He did do a little bit sideways and just always mating the stronger sheep for himself and all the weak, sickly ones given to Laban, and just kind of dwindling his flock over time and all that stuff. It's a little sideways. It is a little sideways. Laban did get out swindled. So he loses his daughters. Obviously, it's not an actual loss. It's like, well, you expect this guy to live with you forever. But he got accustomed to this lifestyle of basically having all kinds of like free help, not free, but of no real expense to him, help around his property, and also kind of riding the coattails of God looking out especially for Jacob in this situation. He's living with a pagan con man. And so God's keeping an eye out for Jacob and making sure that whatever Jacob does, he prospers him. Even when Jacob is sour, even when Jacob is getting his own and making sure, he's sweetening the deal on his own end, God is still allowing that plan to prosper. He's not intervening in every single thing that Jacob does. He's also not stopping Jacob from being swindled at all. So I know that at first read, when I first read this, I was like, oh, it's weird that like God would bless Jacob, even though he's also like getting back at the guy. But God's only intervening in just assuring that Jacob's not being taken advantage of to the point where he is the future plan of him prospering and becoming, the father of this nation. That nothing's hindering that. So he's allowing him to be successful in spite of himself and in spite of being, kind of conned all the time by Laban. So, he takes off, and Rachel, I don't even. Up until this point, dude, what are the ladies doing? And what are the ladies doing in Genesis so far? We haven't had one instance of ladies doing really anything that doesn't make the situation worse. Eve, Rebecca, Rachel, even Sarah was like, oh, just lay with Hagar. And it's like, bro, the mess that made afterward. Like, come on, literally the rest of human history mess. So yeah, dude, like the ladies are 0-5 or 6 right now. Not that the guys are doing any better, but I mean, for not being mentioned a whole bunch and then getting like all this is like, I don't understand the reason for taking the idols. So it's like he's gonna come looking for him, but maybe there's, this is not, she didn't grow up with any sort of, probably not much got passed down from Noah to Abraham to her like it got passed down to Jacob, even though like Abraham and Laban are brother-in-laws or something like that. I forget the exact family tree, but they are closely related. So it's just weird that, I guess God did just interact with Abraham primarily, but it's crazy how the gap can happen so quickly. 2 generations and boom, it's like family doesn't even worship the same God that family used to worship. It's already broken off into paganism very quickly. So, yeah, I mean, she took the idols, then they get into, you took my stuff. And it's kind of like a heartbreak thing. It doesn't seem like Laban is like, he obviously comes at it from like the swindled angle, but he's like, but I don't have anything. All this stuff was mine. You like really shook my whole thing up. I didn't even get a chance to adjust. It's like all of a sudden I come home and all my stuff's gone. Everything that I was accustomed to is gone. You just completely like level set the board. And like, what am I supposed to do? We didn't talk about it. There was no like plan to like, okay, you're going to, it's just like, it ruined me. And sometimes things like that have to happen. I guess if there's a lesson that has to be learned, that could be learned out of this, is like sometimes that has to happen. The relationship that Jacob had with Laban was a predatory, kind of parasitic relationship that kept ending up with Jacob getting the short end of the stick. Somehow Jacob would not be able to say no. He was kind of a yes man. He didn't want to have like real beef with anybody, especially with Laban. He just wanted to kind of leave everything peacefully. So if all the time he was getting the short end of the stick, he'd be out there sweating and toiling 20 years working for Laban and always having the thing change. And first he gets the striped ones, then he gets all the speckled ones, then he gets this, then he gets that. He's got to stay up all night. Anything that's stolen or dead or whatever that he didn't steal but someone else stole or that died, he would have to take the loss of it out of his own sheep. And it was just like not a good situation. If he tried, presumably, we're assuming here, if he tried, I'd be like, hey, it's time for me to leave. Let's figure out a way to part ways. Let's divide this all out, and we'll kind of come up with a plan to get. And this is what they previously did, and he ended up being like, all right, I'll still take care of your sheep and all that kind of stuff. And so, whatever kind of dynamic they had, it wasn't easy to part ways with Laban. He couldn't get out from his grasp, from his clutches, and he just kept ending up on the short end of the stick. So sometimes you just got to go, you know what, done. I'm done. And I know this is going to hurt. But it's never going to change. It's never going to change unless I make it change. And so we made it change. And it's tough. I've been in that situation plenty of times. It's like things don't change unless you make them. And sometimes making those changes is very difficult. So anyway, that's it for this one. Nice little lesson in there, kind of hidden in there, but it's in there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Read your Bible.